Hey folks, Mike Johnson here. If it's got wheels and an engine, you're in the right place. On this channel, we dive into car repairs, maintenance tips, and everything you need to keep your ride running smooth. If you're into cars and want to keep learning, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. All right, enough talking. Let's get into it.
Abnormal combustion, such as pre-ignition or detonation, can lead to engine damage. To prevent this, the powertrain control module, PCM, monitors engine knock with a knock sensor. When a certain level of knock is detected, the module delays ignition to prevent engine damage. What does fault code P0332 mean? Code P0332 indicates a specific problem with knock sensor 2, bank 2. Specifically, it means knock sensor 2, bank 2, circuit low input. This fault code is registered when the powertrain control module, PCM, detects a knock sensor voltage below that specified by the manufacturer. The knock sensor monitors vibrations and noise in the engine, helping the PCM to adjust ignition timing to optimize performance and prevent engine damage due to abnormal combustion, such as knocking. It's important to solve knock sensor problems quickly, as improper operation can lead to reduced performance and potential engine damage. Code P0480 refers to fan control circuit 1. This code is generally associated with a problem in the engine cooling system, involving the cooling fan. It is advisable to diagnose and resolve problems linked to this code quickly to avoid engine overheating problems. What are the possible causes of code P0332? Possible causes of code P0332, knock sensor circuit low input 2, bank 2, may include faulty or broken knock sensor. If the knock sensor is not transmitting signals correctly, this may result in a lower voltage reading and trigger the code. Water-contaminated knock sensor, Chevrolet V8. Some Chevrolet V8 models may be subject to water contamination of the knock sensor, affecting its proper operation. Open, shorted or wired knock sensor circuit, or wiring problems, such as loose connections, broken wires, or short circuits, can lead to incorrect sensor readings. PCM malfunction. If the powertrain control module, PCM, itself is not functioning properly, it may not interpret knock sensor signals correctly. When a P0332 code is recorded, a thorough diagnostic process is recommended to determine the exact cause of the problem. This may involve using diagnostic tools to test the sensor, check the wiring and inspect the PCM. Once the cause has been identified, appropriate repairs can be undertaken. What are the common symptoms of P0332? Common symptoms of code P0332 may include a check engine light, and one of the most obvious signs of a problem, including code P0332, is the illumination of the check engine light on the instrument panel. This indicates a problem detected by the engine management system. Reduced engine performance. A faulty knock sensor can lead to reduced engine performance. You may notice less responsive acceleration or reduced power when driving. Reduced fuel efficiency. A malfunctioning knock sensor can influence ignition timing, which can affect the engine's fuel efficiency. You may notice a reduction in mileage per gallon, miles per gallon. It's important to note that in some cases, code P0332 may not be accompanied by noticeable driving symptoms. However, even in the absence of obvious symptoms, it is advisable to have the vehicle checked by a mechanic as soon as possible to avoid potential serious engine problems. How to diagnose code P0332? It can be difficult to understand why the P0332 code was recorded in the first place, so it's best to leave this task to your trusted mechanic. However, if you have the necessary automotive repair skills, you can find the root cause of the fault code yourself. Diagnosis of fault code P0332 can be carried out by following these steps. OBDI scanner. Use an OBDI scanner to read the P0332 code and any other codes. This will give you an indication of the problem detected by the engine management system. Visual inspection. Visually check the knock sensor and its wiring. Look for damaged wires, loose connections, or signs of water contamination. If you have specific knowledge of the sensor's location on your vehicle, inspect it. Testing the knock sensor. Use a multimeter to test the knock sensor. Measure resistance and voltage to make sure they are within the ranges specified by the manufacturer. Consult your vehicle's repair manual for exact specifications. Wiring check. Examine the wiring between the knock sensor and the PCM. Look for problems such as short circuits, broken wires or corroded connections. Make sure the wiring is in good condition. PCM test. Although rarer, a PCM malfunction could be the cause. This may require advanced diagnostic tools to test the powertrain control module. If all else fails and the PCM is suspect, consult a professional. Replacing the knock sensor. If the sensor is defective, it may need to be replaced. Be sure to use a quality replacement sensor suitable for your vehicle. Road tests. After repairs or replacements, carry out road tests to check whether fault code P0332 reappears. Make sure the engine is running normally. While these steps provide a starting point, it's important to note that precise diagnosis may depend on the specific make and model of your vehicle. If you are unsure of the procedures, or if the problem persists, consult a professional for a thorough assessment. How to solve code P0332. There is no single method for repairing the P0332 code, as there are several possible reasons why it was registered in the first place. That's why it's best to leave this task to a professional mechanic. However, if you feel you have the necessary DIY skills and decide to carry out the repair yourself, you should first determine what triggers the code. Once you've identified the exact cause, use online auto repair resources and guides or a single vehicle all-data subscription to help you solve the problem. Remember that what works for someone else's car may not work for yours, as car manufacturers have specific repair instructions for their models. Be sure to consult your owner's manual before proceeding with any P0332 repairs. Here are some general steps you might consider. Replace the knock sensor. If the knock sensor is defective, damaged or gives incorrect readings, it may need to be replaced. Make sure you use a quality replacement sensor, suitable for your vehicle. Wiring check. Carefully examine the wiring between the knock sensor and the PCM. Look for loose connections, broken wires, short circuits or other electrical problems. Repair as necessary. Cleaning or replacing the connector. If the knock sensor connector is contaminated or corroded, clean it thoroughly. In some cases, it may be necessary to replace the faulty connector. Check for water in the sensor. If applicable, if you're driving a Chevrolet V8 model, check the knock sensor for water contamination. Make sure the sensor is properly sealed and that no water can penetrate it. Advanced diagnosis. If all the above checks fail to resolve the problem, further diagnosis may be required. This may include more advanced testing of the PCM, possibly by an automotive professional. Road tests and code deletion. After completing repairs, carry out road tests to ensure that the problem has been solved. Use an OBDI scanner to clear the P0332 fault code. If the code does not reappear, the repairs have been successful. Bear in mind that these steps are general and that precise resolution may depend on the specific make and model of your vehicle. If you are not comfortable with these repairs, we recommend that you consult a professional mechanic for accurate diagnosis and appropriate repairs. Related codes. Fault code P0332 is specific to the knock sensor on a number of vehicles. However, there are other associated codes that may be related to similar problems or interact with the engine management system. Here are some possible associated codes: a P0325, knock sensor 1, bank circuit 1, low input. This code is similar to P0332, but concerns the first knock sensor 1, on the first bank of cylinders, bank 1. P0327, knock sensor 1, bench circuit 1, low voltage, indicates a low voltage problem with knock sensor 1 on bench 1. P0328, knock sensor 1, bench 1 circuit, signal too high. This code indicates that the signal from knock sensor 1 on bench 1 is too high. P0330, knock sensor 2 circuit, low input, is similar to P0332, but concerns the second knock sensor 2, on bench 2. P0340, camshaft sensor A input circuit. Although different, this code can be associated because knock and camshaft sensors often work together to adjust ignition timing. When a P0332 code is detected, it's a good idea to check these associated codes too, to get a fuller picture of the problem. This can help identify specific components or circuits that are causing problems in the engine management system. Frequently asked questions. Here are some frequently asked questions about code P0332. How can I diagnose and repair the P0332 code myself? You can use an OBDI scanner to read the code, visually inspect the NOx sensor and wiring, test the sensor with a multimeter, check for water on some models, and possibly replace the faulty sensor. How much does it usually cost to have P0332 repaired by a mechanic? Costs may vary depending on the underlying cause. Replacing the NOx sensor is generally less expensive than wiring or PCM problems. Costs may vary depending on labor and parts. Can I continue to drive my car with fault code P0332? Although the car can continue to run, it is advisable to solve the problem quickly to avoid possible engine damage. Ignoring the problem could lead to more costly repairs in the long term. Conclusion. In conclusion, fault code P0332 indicates a problem with the second NOx sensor on engine bank 2, where the circuit input is deemed too low by the powertrain control module, PCM. Although this may not result in immediate driving symptoms, it is crucial to deal with this code quickly to avoid potential problems such as engine damage. Diagnosis and repair of code P0332 may require the use of an OBDI scanner, visual inspection of the sensor and wiring, testing of the NOx sensor, and possibly replacement of the faulty sensor. Associated codes, such as P0325, P0327, P0330, and P0340, may also provide additional information about the problem. It is strongly recommended that you consult an automotive professional for an accurate diagnosis and appropriate repairs. Ignoring the problem can lead to more serious complications and higher repair costs in the long term. The severity of code P0332 depends on a number of factors, including the underlying cause and its impact on engine performance. In the end, promptly dealing with fault code P0332 will help to keep your engine running smoothly and avoid more serious problems.